and on the website, and launching on DAB Digital Radio from Thursday. Thank you to Sam Coleman for being with us. I think we all now fancy a go at power boating. It looks awesome. My only boating experience, I have to say, was the bumper boats at Heatherton. Good, they're very good, and I was pretty good at them, but I'm not sure how that would translate to
what. There's pictures of Sam Coleman on our stories on Facebook and Instagram if you want to have a look at him in action as well.
Excellent, and you can follow it on ITV, so have a look back on ITVX. You should be able to see how he got on winning that World Championship title. But let's get into the weekend's football, shall we? Because it was the West Wales Cup, and we're going to go through all of the results as we did in the last round, and we'll do some goal scorers as well. And I think actually, Gordon, you said at the start of the show you were at Neyland, weren't you, on Saturday? And they had a 3-1 win over St Ishmael's in an all Pembrokeshire game.
Yes, it was, and Neyland Division 2, Tish in Division 1, but West Wales Cup is a bit of a, I shouldn't say a lottery. These boys are hoping to have a day out in Swansea, if I'm honest, and the two teams I watched on Saturday were disappointed they were playing each other. But there we are. Neyland led 3-0 by half-time, going down there. Shall I say a slope at the athletic ground? They don't call it a slope, but I can tell you it is quite a slope there. And then second round, Tish did score quite early on. We were hoping for a bit of a comeback, but fair play, some resolute defending by the Nomads, and they shut him out, and they won that particular round 3-1.
I don't think Tish should be too concerned, to be honest, going out that competition. Realistically, God said, it's competition. You do like to socialise with it. You do like a draw like that, but they didn't get it. But they've picked up in Division 1. Staying up will be their priority. And I don't think having less games to deal with it is going to be a problem.
And to be fair, we spoke about it the last few weeks. Tish have been in quite good form, and they've picked up some important points in the league, which is more important to them. There was Robbie Thomas running the line. We had a chat, and he was telling me basically it's the league is the most important thing, is to consolidate the Division 1 status. So they'll be working on that.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. One team that were on the road were Tenby. Joe Leahy hat-trick gave them a 3-1 win against Spring Cork. And if you have an away game in a cup, coming back with a 3-1 win and a striker scoring a hat-trick, Fraser, that's a decent afternoon's work, isn't it?
It's that name again, isn't it, Joe Lee? He scored in a winning West Wales Cup fan for Middlesbrough before he's won this competition. Look, I keep saying it and I'll keep repeating it. You know, a fully fit and focused Joe Lee, he is as good as any striker in the Pembrokeshire League.
100%.
You know, it has been that way for a few years. He was at Haverfordwest County for a little bit. Perhaps could have made it there. Fell out with certain people for certain reasons. I'm not saying it was his fault, but it didn't work out there. But, you know, went back to Merlin's Bridge. Huge player for them. And it looked, you know, a couple of seasons ago that he was perhaps petering out in terms of Pembrokeshire League football, mitigating circumstances. I should say that his boy's involved in Swansea City, so he's doing a lot of travelling. He's playing a bit of second-team football. I think it's great for the league that he's back playing first-team football at the Division 1 side and firing, because you want boys like that in there. And Tenby are one of those. You know, we've said for so long in this competition, you put a run together and you're capable of going all the way. We proved that in 2019 when Care and Bridge did go all the way to the final. We had two Pembrokeshire sides in it. Tenby are a dangerous side. They get a good draw. They get Leahy firing. They got a chance.
Watch this space. I think we've said that, haven't we? Yeah, that Tenby could be the one to watch. Let's rattle through some of these. Buryport 0, Merlin's Bridge 1. Nathan Evans for the Bridge, and a win as well away from home for Goodwick United. They went to Caerbryn and won. Rhys Delling 2, and a name we all know, Sean Pemberton, on the score sheet for Goodwick in that. And they're another side who will certainly fancy their chances of having a good run in this competition.
They'll feel unfinished business. I thought that semi-final last year, they really did underperform against Penlan, actually. But no, they're well vested on the road in this competition. I'm not surprised at their progress. Morale-boosting win for Bridge, maybe, as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've had a difficult start to the season. Mike Preddy is starting to see a little bit of progress in the teams that he's picking, because he's got a lot of old heads to pick and a lot of youngsters as well. It's getting that blend together. But that's a great result for Merlin's Bridge away from home.
Sorry, jumping ahead of you, Ben. Another team that needed a win was obviously Carey, but only 2-0 at home to Division 2 Johnston. Again, it's probably this right now, not a competition that's a priority, but maybe a result they need for momentum, if nothing else.
Again, the bottom half of the table, struggling a bit this season. I'm sure staying in Division 1 is their main focus, not so much to get into the final like they did in
Yeah,
2019. But we wait and see on that score.
Okay, let's go through a couple of sides who were knocked out of the competition. So it was on the whole actually quite a good, Saturday for Pembrokeshire sides, but there were a few that bowed out as well. KSV AFC. Do we know where are they from?
I'm not sure if that's Neatham District. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems to ring a bell.
Okay, well, CKSV AFC 3, St Clair's 0.
Sounds like it's from Russia, doesn't it?
Easy to say that one. Fishguard Sports 0, Llangennych 4, and Kilgetty also going out. They lost 1-0 away to Glynneath Town. So for those three sides knocked out of the competition, disappointment for them?
Kilgetty, I'd say. Good cup side, capable of going far. Fishguard, I saw some pictures up on social media on Saturday night of a social after the game in fancy dress, so they didn't look too concerned at going out at the end, to be honest with you.
They want to get back into Division 1. That's what their holy grail is. I'm sure they definitely wanted an away trip, but unfortunately they didn't get one. That's why they were in fancy dress for it.
And St Clair's probably had what a lot of Pembrokeshire sides dream about. They got the bus trip, they got the away fixture, and they don't have to play in the competition again. So, no, I've been harsh there. They were well beaten. But Gordon does have a point. I know we joke about this all the time. It is a good social day. A lot of teams look at it as their day out. You know, I remember being at Seoul and we drew Loreni home in the first round. I've never been more devastated. And we lost. So it was a waste of an entry, really, you know. But it is good to see teams enjoy it on the road. You've got to get the job done, of course you do, but make the most of it as well. Because it doesn't happen so much these days, the social side.
One other side that went out as well, then we'll finish off with 3 Pembrokeshire wins. Letterston 0, Cwm Wanderers 4. It was a full-time score as well, so Letterston out of the competition. But let's focus on some wins, and there were 7 goals shared in the game between Moncton and AFC Gleis. Dylan Davis hat-trick for Moncton Swifts. They won 4-3. That's a good game.
Very good.
Yeah, they came from behind to do it as well. They did it the hard way. And Dylan Davis has been around a little while now. He's another one. He does find the back of the net quite frequently. So, they'll be happy with that result down in Moncton Lane.
Yeah, Liam Butland also on the score sheet for Moncton in that game, so well done to them. Clarbeston Road on the road as well, and they've had a quite an up and down season, Clarbeston Road, haven't they, at times, but the cup might be what gives them that bit of focus. Ross 1, Clarbeston Road 3, Laurie Howarth 2, Matthew Davis on the score sheet, and they'll be pleased with their afternoon's work, still in the competition.
Yeah, Gord might correct me here, but Laurie Howarth, another previous winner from Middlesbridge, I believe, from that 2019. Yeah. Oh, look, we know Clarbeston Road are a dangerous cup side. We don't have to hark back to next year. They're another one. Like Tenby. You know, everyone will talk about Goodwick and Hakin as being our best chances. I think the likes of Tenby, Clarbeston Road, and Moncton and Penarth we going to now, I think are all teams capable as well. You know, you get the right draw, and it shows their maturity now that they do go to places like Ross and can win and come away with results.
Yeah, let's finish on that win for Penna, because they were away to Trostres, so they could do a bit of shopping whilst they're there as well. 8-0, Penna won. Jamie Wilkes hat-trick, Ben Adams hat-trick, Kieran Smith, Connor Willis. That was the biggest win of the weekend for a Pembrokeshire side, and that's a great afternoon, isn't it?
Ben Adams is a very, very good player. He's been a very good Division 1 player for a long time, and obviously had that spell at Goodwick where we won a couple of league titles, but was deployed as a right back.
Exactly, as a right back, and he's a striker scoring hat-trick.
So good to see him back in an attacking position, actually, because he was, you know, I think he filled a role.
If Sully is listening, you played him in the wrong position, mate.
Sully will point to his record, just so you know. But Sully can point to his record. But look, no, he did a job at Goodwick. He was asked to do a role. He filled it very well. He's a good professional boy. He's a sort of, but he is an attacking player by nature. So it's good to see him back up front and scoring.
Yeah, excellent work. Well done to all the Pembrokeshire sides who made progress. I was going to say one to come. That's Hakin. Hakin were actually in league action on Saturday. They beat Milford United 5-0 in the only Division 1 game that was played on Saturday. They play next week, don't they, against West End?
Yes, they do. But let's just point out they've closed the gap at the top to a point with that victory. Yes, Goodwick got a game in hand, but it puts a little bit of pressure on them. It's interesting now. They're keeping the momentum going. West End at home, 1:30 kick-off this coming Saturday at the Orbs. It will be a cracker. Both sides, got great pedigree in these cup competitions. Home advantage for Scott Davis's side. Hopefully, will carry him over the line. It'll be a cracker. If you've got a chance to go and watch it, get at the Obs at 1:30 Saturday.
Yeah.
Just Scott really as well. His last game in charge of Hakin 2 years ago was losing, of course, the West Wales Cup final, which they actually led 1-0 in. But Gord actually made a point there. It's gone unnoticed the last 2 weeks. Could have been cup action. The gap has gone from 7 points to 1. When it was looking sizable at one point, we were saying Hakin can't afford another slip up. The pressure's back on now. Goodwick a little bit to maintain their form. So I think Scott have been delighted that there's been cup action for them in the last 2 weeks, and he's just been able to quietly and noticed breach that gap.
Okay, who are we thinking then out of the Pembrokeshire sides? Who's the one to watch in the West Wales Cup now? Gordon doesn't want to make a prediction until we're down to down to the semi-finals. Then he'll stick his neck out. But
Pembrokeshire side final again, and that possibly could happen.
Yeah,
but you've got some cracking sides involved in that competition. From Carmarthenshire, from the Swansea leagues as well. They're all vying to get to the final. It's a big day out. And Pembrokeshire sides, as Fraser and I both know, have done well in the last decade to get to so many finals. But to actually put your nail on one club to get to the final is not an easy thing to do, because Goodwick, you've got to give them a big shout. Hakin are good enough. They lost against Penlan in the final. So
Tenby we've mentioned. There's a few on your day. If you perform, you can get through, and that's what you've got to do.
I'm going to steer away from saying Hakin and Goodwick, actually, because obviously they're the two obvious choices which we always mention. I'd say outside of those two, I'm say our main hope is I'm going to go out on a limb and say Tenby. I think they can be a dangerous cup team. They're not going to win the league. They can afford to put everything into it. And if they keep Joe Lee focused and fit and firing...
You've got Scott Finney there as well. Fraser Finley. They have got some good quality players.
Very, very good players. Yeah.
All right, what about having won the Senior Cup last season and had some erratic form at times, but capable of beating teams? What about Clarbeston Road?
Clarbeston Road perfectly capable as well. Perfectly capable as well of going far. The fear factor's gone in this competition for Pembrokeshire sides now. It was almost used to be the holy grail at the start of this century. It's not that now. I think it's a very evenly matched team from across the leagues and different competitions. There's no reason why any of our top half sides can't go far. You look at Merlin's Bridge. Merlin's Bridge were bang average in the league last year, and yet reached a semi-final. They're one game away from the Swansea.com stadium. If you get the right draw and if you put enough into it, anyone can challenge from Pembrokeshire.
And we joke about away games being good journeys out, but actually there'll be some sides who, from outside of Pembrokeshire, having to travel to Goodwick or Hakin or clubs. They're not going to fancy those journeys either, are they?
No, exactly. No.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Right.
Well, we'll look forward to following round 3 of the West Wales Cup. One more tie involving a Pembrokeshire side to come. That's next weekend, as Gordon said. 1:30 start, so that's going to be one to follow next weekend, and we'll talk about that on the show. That's Hakin v West End. We should mention as well, Haverfordwest continued their good form, didn't they? Third in the table, huge game this weekend. The trip to TNS on Sunday, and TNS go so well in Europe, aren't they? That's some story. But a 4-1 win. And it was the local boys who came up with the goods, wasn't it? Good to see Ben Fawcett scoring too. Greg Walters on the score sheet as well. And they found some consistency, which I think they haven't had maybe since Rob Edwards came in as chairman. They've had some good results and they've had some good achievements. But this season, it does seem to be the consistency they're finding, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you could argue, potentially, if there is a good time to go to TNS, it might be this week. It is European football this week. Yeah. So I believe TNS will be in action on Thursday. So you'd hope for them to have West's point of view that takes it out of them. But no, you are right, Ben. They are putting a string of results together. That's what they've lacked for so long. And they're looking like we've talked so long about this top 6 finish, haven't we? It's potentially top 2 or 3 finish there for the taking out the keep. So a long way to go. But I think they'll be delighted how it's gone so far. And the cup competition, I believe, drawn Ammanford as well.
They have. Yeah. Something of a local time.
That's a winnable game for Haverfordwest County as well. They could do well in the Welsh Cup this season as well. So Tony Pennock will be focused on, obviously, that top 6 finish. That's the most important thing for Haverfordwest County, is to get into a European place for next season. But it's looking very good. They're unbeaten in the last 9 games in Cup and League football. You can't do much better than that, to be honest with you.
First goal for Greg Walters since coming back as well.
Yeah, it was a hell of a finish. He was all of 2 yards on the line when he put it in. I will remind. I think his hair put it over the line, to be honest with you. But no, they're playing some really good football. And Ben Forster came off the bench, and he's a young lad who he's got a lot of talent, as Ben, and he took his goals very well. He could have had a hat-trick if it wasn't for the keeper. It wasn't the case that he didn't get it on target. He had 3 or 4 chances on goal, and 2 of them went in, and that's good news for Haverfordwest County.
Yeah, Fraser, you are right. It is European week this week, so it's the Europa League stage. And I'm just wondering whether TNS had a long journey into Eastern Europe or somewhere to go on Thursday, which may help Haverfordwest. They've got Shamrock Rovers away on Thursday evening, so just over the water to the Republic of Ireland for a 5:45 kickoff.
That'll be a tough
it
one.
It will be, but actually another game where TNS might say we could get something from that one, and they're quite a story. And talking to Rob about that last week, he said, "Of course, it's good for the Welsh League. Of course it is, because the revenue that will help generate will get spread, and actually just getting on the map and playing at that level is something, isn't it, for the Cymru Premier?" So
they've already increased the coefficient as well. So if Haverfordwest do get a 3rd place finish, they've got a European spot as well, haven't they? So with that win, so that's helpful.
Only November though. There's a long way to go yet, isn't it?
It's only November, and Haverfordwest have already equalled their most points scored in phase 1 of the competition, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's been a great run. All right, we've got part 3 to come in just a sec. We'll change the shape of the ball, I think, and we'll have a look at the autumn internationals with a bit of local Pembrokeshire interest as well. And just to make you aware of some quite strange kick-off times for the autumn internationals. So we'll mark your card on that in just a sec as well for the final part of tonight's Pure West Sport.
From childhood to adulthood, Orbis Education